Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Gillcast. You're either listening to this on the Sports Grid Fantasy Football Podcast or the RotoGrinders Daily Fantasy Football Show. I'm Davis Maddock, joined by Sammy Reed and Nate Nolan. For once, I'm actually in the best mood out of everyone. I didn't, quote-unquote, win on DraftKings, but I didn't get crushed as bad as these two jelly beans. So I'm here with Nate Nolan and Sammy Reed. And really, Sammy, you knew your day was over about 6 minutes in to the day. So it's been a long day for you, pal.
Yeah, honestly, I kind of felt pretty confident that it was over before the slate even started.
This was a very difficult week. You see this in double ups. There were not big dupe trains. There were, instead of guys being 70% owned, the chalk plays are 50% owned. This was certainly a week where people were not feeling confident for sure.
Yeah, and I played harder in GPP, not as hard in cash as I usually do, which is the one solace because my cash team was ass.
Yeah, and I guess I should say I did not play D-Hember in any tournaments, and therefore I was also excluded from the winning in tournaments. So,
Same, obviously.
Though I did win on FanDuel without playing Derrick Henry. I swear, if you just have a brain in FanDuel cash, you win. Like, it's unbelievable. Like, my team is not good. I made mini errors. I played Kiki Cutie there too.
Did you play David Montgomery on FanDuel?
Yeah,
you played
David
David Montgomery.
I did play David Montgomery. David Montgomery, by the way, his team wins like 40-3. He gets like 12 touches. So I think maybe this whole idea of David Montgomery as good of a play as Austin Eckler, I think we might need to put that to bed.
Nate, do you have any thoughts about Demont versus Eckler?
I mean, I didn't play him. I didn't play Demont this week because he was $500 away from Eckler. I mean, last week it was a $2,000 difference. Don't even compare. But Montgomery still outscored him this week, right?
Almost no chance. That's true.
Well, why don't we just talk about fading Derrick Henry before we even get into
so just spoiler alert.
Just to be clear, David Montgomery did outscore Eckler. David Montgomery put up 28 points on DraftKings.
That's a cool story.
Anyway, yeah. You know who put up more than 28? Derrick Henry.
Derrick freaking Henry. I don't even want to do this show. Every time we do this, every time people say, why didn't you play Derrick Henry? Why didn't you? I'm not going to play Derrick Henry. When Derrick Henry's going to win like this, I'm just going to lose that
week. We played him. No, do you remember we played him the week when he was good? He was 7,600. You can play him at that price.
You don't play him here. There's no way. I mean, nobody who played Henry played Devontae. Devontae was clearly, to me, the best play of the slate. There was no chance I was going to get off Devontae to get on Derrick Henry.
Correct.
I mean, here's the thing. Sometimes a guy's just going to smash. I mean, we texted about this. We're just like, none of us are going to play Henry, and Henry is going to obliterate us. And yay, verily, the prophecy came to pass, and we're all dust. And it was just like so obvious it was going to happen.
It's just, yeah. I mean, what I should have done is I should have just played less this week. Like, I actually played a little bit more than normal because I was selling a bunch of games. I got off my lazy ass and posted games early this week, like on Monday, and they all sold out. So I just kept posting, which
nice infusion of capital, nice bailout to the DFS economy from you this week.
You don't need to wait on Congress for a stimulus.
Davis package, just what we all needed during the pandemic.
This is what happens. This is what happens the week where you're feeling good, you're on top, you're getting your games out early. Like, that's the week you're going to run bad, obviously.
For sure.
Yeah. So the way it ended up, they like when you read the scores. I scored 142.02. Nate scored 137.6. Whirling Dervish scored 128.66. And to be honest, his team is even worse than that. Sammy's team is even worse than the score.
I'm not going to defend the team. It is actually quite bad. So,
so I guess real quick, Nate, you and I had the same basic structure. I started out the day with a 3K wide receiver and Aaron Rodgers. Then when Jamison Crowder was inactive, I swapped from Rodgers and Berrios to Justin Herbert and Brashad Perryman. So I don't think that the swap was bad from the idea of like Berrios could have legitimately played 0 snaps with Crowder active. But what I should have done was just played another 3K wide receiver. I should have just played Mohamed Sanu, Richie James, Greg Ward, like just whoever, like someone who could get 5, right? Because that's really all I kind of needed at that point. Because my lineup was good going into the afternoon games, and the 14-point difference between Aaron Rodgers and Justin Herbert is why I did not sweep my games. So not a great swap, but like I would have felt worse about just leaving Berrios, and I don't think that would have been good.
Yeah, I think at 11:30 we probably had the same team, Davis. I was on Berrios, but with the news with Crowder and it wasn't coming till late, there was no way I wanted to go into the afternoon. Like there was no swaps that I liked, and I wasn't just going to go into the afternoon with it. So I just excluded Berrios and ran it again and ended on my team, and I felt good about it because it wasn't like so going into the afternoon, I actually felt comfortable regardless of the Crowder Jets situation. But if the Jets game would have been at noon, I probably would have had the same team as you because I had Berrios.
Well, yeah, I mean, if the Jets game honestly, if the Jets game is at noon, I probably win. Well, no, because I would have played Perryman, I think. I would have played Perryman or Gallup, and both of them were bad, and I probably would not have played Rodgers.
You guys are talking about with this noon stuff, you Midwest yokels.
No, everyone knows what we're talking about.
7 a.m. in the freaking – Sammy, everybody lives on Central Time. I don't know what this whole, like, you watch football at – what time does it start for you, 9 a.m.?
10 a.m., friend. 10 a.m.
Dude, Sammy, if you were in playoff, like when you play fantasy baseball, you have to like set transactions at like 8 in the morning, don't you?
Yeah, you do need to log on.
Oh, God. I mean, imagine waking up to move a Ledmus DS into your util slot.
Been there.
Ledmus.
So anyway, Sammy, what you were about to say is that I've just been making egregious swaps for the last 2 weeks, and you are spot on. My swap game has been bad the last month. It's been but earlier in the season, I ran super hot on swaps twice, getting there when I should not have got there. So it does all it. Like what's going to end up happening this year is I'm going to end the year in cash games with like a 1.5% ROI. And it will have been this whole adventure and all this wasted time for one of the worst hourly returns ever. Literally just to do this show. Literally just because the people need this show.
It's a good thing we get paid so much to do this show. Of that ROI up to 1.52.
Yeah. So, Sammy, you did not go into this late planning on playing Aaron Rodgers. Explain yourself.
This is kind of where I want to start saying, well, I just want to jam in a bunch of alphas and, that's what it's all about. But, I just didn't think it was great. And I think this was probably a mistake because you did. I didn't think it was great to pay up at positions like tight end and quarterback on this slate. And it's not because there wasn't available value, because there was. It's because I didn't feel like the available value had a lot of upside. Right. So, like QT in this game environment, he was up to like 5K. I thought he was fine, but I really didn't think he was that great.
After watching that game, I feel like playing Kiki at 5K was a big old mistake by myself.
Yeah, which is fine, man. Like there was a bunch of available guys in the 5K receiver range. But like the Gallup, I didn't love. I didn't think he had a lot of upside. I didn't think. Perriman's got some upside, but I think he's just a super risky cash play. When Berrios was out there, I thought that, and it's probably Berrios, but we call him Berrios because of Jose Berrios, the pitcher. Nate, I know you're on board with this.
Yeah,
I don't know what
probably.
it is. You think I watch a Jets game to hear what an announcer says?
Yeah, I need to just make a mental note right now. Just no more Jets. Minimum salary. What? Just no more. No more.
Yeah,
they're not trying. They're not trying to win games, and that it's just bad.
I need to.
They just with 5 minutes left in the fourth, they just start handing the ball off because they just want to go home. They don't even care.
No, like if that was like if those were the Raiders down 30 points to the Seahawks, they'd have Carr in there gunning to Ruggs and Aguilar to get that goal line, that garbage touchdown. But the Jets don't even care. They just don't care.
So, but basically that was kind of just the way I saw the slate. Is I'm like, look, like these low price guys, Washington, who I ended up playing, DeAndre Washington. I didn't think he had a lot of upside, and I'm just like, wow, these guys will get like a little volume, but man, I just want to go for upside with my position players, which is kind of like what led to my build. And I just don't think I executed the build right, honestly. Like that was a problem. But you guys tell me if you thought that was fish, because Davis, you paid up for Rodgers and you paid up for Kelsey, and you ended up. I mean, you didn't win, but you lost less hard than I did.
Yeah, I mean,
I thought Rodgers was a lock. I think
I did too.
This week, I thought Rodgers was the Rodgers Devontae stack in cash. I thought was just like what DK should have come preloaded with this week, and then you figure everything else out from there. And I think anything other than that just felt like fancy play syndrome to me, just overthinking it. And I don't think I ever got off of that, but I do agree with you, Sammy, that like it does force you to get comfortable with value that like maybe we shouldn't have been. But at the same time, like Rodgers legit, like the Rodgers Devontae stack can put up 75 points in cash games, and then you're just hosed, So I don't know. I wasn't going to get off that build. I understand why you did it, and I think Stafford was the way to do it because it's
So I think
Hurts was actually the way to do it, but
yeah.
I just thought, dude, I was just like, this could end up so terribly. Like this could be like rich man's Kendall Minter or something like that.
You actually ran bad, Sammy, because he didn't even play the last drive when the Packers were in prevent defense. Like you could have gotten 20 there. Oh, and even 2-4. Dude, you could have gotten 24. You could have gotten the bonus in the passing touchdown.
Stafford had 203 yards at the half and a touchdown, and then he threw for like 40 in the third quarter. It was just like and
that second half was super tilting on both sides.
Yeah, Stafford certainly could have done a little better. There was a Marvin Jones reception in the corner that looked like it was a catch. I don't think it was a touchdown, but it was real close. Got reviewed, didn't get there. Ran kind of bad, but really like, dude, I've owned Stafford in fantasy for a lot of years, and it's just never a good sweat. He just kind of sucks. So I deserve what I got playing Matt Stafford, and I'm not going to complain about it.
Just I'm looking at my lineup, and okay. So let's the one thing we have that's most different relative to what other people did is we all played Ronald Jones, and I don't know if it's a combination of other content sites not projecting him highly, because he, as soon as Fournette moved out, he was in our optimal at Daily Roto. I don't know what like Cardi stuff had him for and all that. Or people just don't like Ronald Jones. That's definitely a big part of it. Like people just they do not like Ronald Jones. But with Fournette out, 30-point team total at home against the Vikings, like this just felt like pretty much an auto play to me.
The only reason I can guess that he wasn't a lock, like that he wasn't higher owned for everyone, is because of the timing of the news. Otherwise, I don't understand how he's not a lock. I mean, basically with Fournette out, all of the risk for Jones is removed from the equation. There's like no downside other than like injury at this point. So I thought Jones became the lock of the running back position for me, which was a weak position for me. Like I wanted to play 4 wide receivers going into this morning. And then when the Jones thing came out, it was like, oh, he's the best. And then I just needed to figure out which of the value running backs I was playing.
Yeah, so none of us were going to play Derrick Henry in cash because he just, like we saw last week, sometimes he just doesn't get there at all. Jacksonville, obviously this was a really good spot, but I think we all had like similar running back pools that we were choosing from. Like we were all thinking about James Robinson. We're all thinking about Eckler. We were all thinking about McKissick, Jones.
I didn't really consider James Robinson, because Eckler was so much better.
Yeah, God. I mean, I did play James Robinson instead of Eckler, and I feel really bad about it. Like I'm a huge Eckler.
After the Eckler holy war from last week, how could you forget?
Well, I mean, it'd been like 5 weeks in a row that we all faded James Robinson, and all he does is smash. And I was just
that's true.
just like, you know what? Like, I do feel not as safe with his receptions, but just like his total, he just never comes off the field, whereas Eckler does. I know Eckler's going to get more work, but James Robinson has more touchdown equity. I thought it was really close, but in the end, I thought Robinson had a kind of safer workload, and man, Eckler just smashes every week. Like he just they just give him the ball all the time. Like it doesn't even matter that he only is playing like half the snaps or 60% of the snaps. He's just getting the ball all the time, and he got like 28 touches, like 10, 11 targets. I don't know what exact numbers were, but
it's just like insane. Like it's just so easy for him to get points. Like his absolute floor is 10 points because he will get 10 receptions like in a game like this.
Right now he's basically Alvin Kamara's workload, except for like when it comes to red zone type stuff. Alvin Kamara gets so much more touchdown equity.
He did get 3 touches inside the 10 in this game. He just didn't. He Myles Gaskin'd it.
Yeah.
But if he continues to get a like 18% plus target share at the running back position with like 40+% rushing attempt share, I mean, he's definitely in play. It's just that he doesn't like he's not Alvin Kamara because of the touchdown equity. Until we start to see that from the Chargers.
Yeah. So we all didn't play Henry, and we all didn't play Eckler. Is that right?
Yeah.
Jesus, no wonder we lost.
Yeah, like I'm sitting here looking at my lineup where I effectively played Kiki Cutie and JD McKissick over like Gallup and Eckler, and it's just like, what are you doing, dude?
Just like so fully agreed. Like
by the way,
it's a little bit more of an art when you can pay $5K for a Houston wide receiver that is really like a 3.5K guy on the worst. The Texans were the worst like offensive efficiency team going in. When you look at what they have right now going up against the Bears, I can't believe I played QT at 5K. That might be my
I feel pretty bad, and also
that might be my stone worst play of the year.
I also feel that playing McKissick was stupid because what did I think the absolute max for McKissick was? Like 15.
You were hoping that San Francisco got up because McKissick has scored 1 touchdown all season. He's just not scoring, bro.
Now to be fair though, he actually played way more than I thought. He was the clear lead back. Peyton Barber was involved like on first and second down, it was McKissick in there, which was surprising. But I mean, like I'm not trying to defend it. Like this was not good, I think.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where at the beginning of the week, McKissick was looking like the play because Gibson was out. And then once things changed, like he really just started falling down and down the list of like who you should play. And I think one of the things about the McKissick play is you want him to get a lot of targets. Like you're like,
you're playing him like he's a wide receiver.
Right. Yeah. You're hoping he's like Lynn Bowden, but he didn't do as good as Lynn Bowden.
Yeah. Should have just played Lynn Bowden. I bet he was the min.
He was the min, but the thing about him, McKissick, was that like he was getting. I mean, it was up and down, but he had many games with like double-digit targets, and I think a lot of those were in games where they were down, or like against Pittsburgh, like they had a lot of like end of both halves kind of hurry up stuff. But when they're playing a game against San Francisco, where San Francisco is not that good, this was going to be kind of an ugly game. And once Washington like took the lead, they got a couple of defensive touchdowns. All of a sudden, it wasn't like check down central. And then, he kind of ran bad because Haskins came in. Haskins isn't going to dump it down like Alex Smith. It was just a tough scene. He only got 4 targets. And I think that's not what you were looking for out of that play.
Correct. It is not what I am looking for. And so I had Curtis Samuel in that spot for, whatever, most of the morning. And then the Panthers announced that Brandon Zylstra was starting over him, and I got visions of CEH standing on the sideline holding his helmet because he didn't practice all week. Samuel did not get he was
sick, wasn't
No, he was a close COVID contact, so he wasn't at practice all week. And we've already seen multiple times this year where guys who don't practice because of the close COVID contact tracing don't play in the game.
But they're inactive, Davis, is the thing.
No,
just when they haven't practiced with the team all week.
Like who was active and didn't practice and ended up
Clyde Edwards-Helaire last Sunday night.
Yeah, but wasn't he
sat there with his helmet on and just watched Le'Veon Bell putter around the whole game?
Right, but wasn't he actually sick?
I mean, I have no idea.
I think he was actually sick. I don't think he got COVID, bro. Like I think that's a different situation.
CH didn't have COVID either. He wouldn't have been on the sideline.
That's what I'm saying. I think CEH was sick, but not with COVID. I have to check this out.
Let me tell you this: after watching CEH today, I mean, is he the worst? Like,
I cannot believe you both need to hold the big L on that. That was you guys touted him as the second coming of Marshall. I mean, it was he does not.
He was supposed. I mean, if I just tell you blank check, the Chiefs draft a running back in the first round in the middle of a Super Bowl run, aren't you
I'd say bad decision. Don't waste early round.
Obviously it's a terrible decision. Like, no one's arguing that, but you're just writing blank checks to get that guy in your fantasy team.
Right. Yeah, the Chiefs running back situation is just like fantasy point central.
Yeah, but the true answer is that they just need Damian because he's the only one that can do it.
The only one that can
especially during the playoffs, you just need playoff Damian.
Like, do you guys remember? Like, almost no one will remember this, but like for the first 6 weeks of Patrick Mahomes' MVP season, everyone was tilting Kareem Hunt. Because he would get like 60 scrimmage yards, no receptions, and maybe a touchdown. Like, everyone was tilting it because like they don't really need running backs the way they play. And so if CH is not contributing as a receiver, he's just isn't going to contribute at all. Like, he had 13 carries for 30 yards today with Patrick Mahomes as a quarterback.
The thing about CH is he's not real big and he's not real fast. And when you're not big or fast.
And I think Andy Reid just realizes, like, when you have Patrick Mahomes, any running back handoff is just a much lower efficiency play. Like,
yeah, it's a total waste. CH is a bust.
The only thing about the Panthers situation is I'm really surprised more people did not play Robbie Anderson. Now, obviously, Robbie didn't like smash, but he was close to. I thought Robbie was going to put up 25 burger here, and I'm amazed at 6.2 he was not more owned. Like, why did you guys not play Robbie or think about Robbie?
I did. I thought Robbie was a good play. I honestly, the fact that I was planning on playing Samuel though was why I didn't play, and because I thought Samuel was a better play.
For me, it was really, I thought Marvin Jones was kind of an equal play, and I thought that Brandon Ayuk an equal play.
Well, I played them both, and I can confirm, Sammy, that Marvin Jones was not an equal play.
You knew the kiss of death when you're texting us. You're like, I need Marvin Jones to smash in the second games, and I'm like, yeah, he's a really good play, Nate. You should be fine.
Dude,
Marvin Jones coming up with 8 for 116 and 1 last week lost so many people, like lost so much money for people this week. Like, the fact that you just look at that. People don't remember that 55 yards of it came in the fourth quarter, literally on like a busted coverage, like, just one of those crazy Stafford plays. Like,
sure,
he didn't even have.
But the thing is, Jones has been getting. It's not just last week's smash. It's Jones has been getting like a lot of targets without.
Let me tell you this though. People are mentally weak, and if they look at that and they see 12 targets for 7 receptions and 64 yards and 0 touchdowns, which his line would have been had he not secured that pass. His ownership is sliced in half. I'll guarantee it, dude. I guarantee it.
I mean,
yeah, but Nate still would have played him because
I still would have played him because I don't look at that.
He only looks at the Whopper.
Yeah, Nate just breathes Whopper through his gills, and
he's had 3 of the last. He said 3 of the last 4 weeks with above 75 Whopper.
Nate, you are a fake Whopper guy because a real Whopper head would have played Perryman 100% in this slate.
I loved Perryman. I told you I was on Perryman all week. It just, construction-wise, I didn't end up there.
We'll get back to the guys on the Gillcast here in just a second, but need to thank our sponsor here on the podcast this week. Of course, we're talking about Manscaped, looking for the ultimate stocking stuffer this holiday season. Look no further, because our sponsors, Manscaped, have the tools to make you win this year's stocking stuffer or white elephant competition. Manscaped, it's the only brand dedicated to below-the-waist grooming, hygiene products. And great news, they just released their products across Europe, Canada, and Australia. Of course, we've talked about the Lawnmower 3.0 trimmer. Offers a replaceable ceramic blade, advanced skin-safe technology, which, of course, important. We don't want any grooming accidents. And, of course, the Weed Whacker nose and ear hair trimmer, which provides proprietary skin-safe technology to get rid of those nasty, nasty nose hair. So you've enjoyed the podcast this football season, then support a great sponsor of ours this holiday season. And, hey, get something good for yourself. Why not? It's Manscaped. You get 20% off and free shipping when you use promo code ROTO at manscaped.com. So get 20% off free shipping with the code ROTO at manscaped.com. That's 20% off free shipping, manscaped.com. Use promo code ROTO. What are you waiting for? Go whack your weeds and make Santa proud. All right, back to the guys on the Gillcast here on the RotoGrinders Daily Fantasy Football Feed.
I needed 4 wide receivers, and I wasn't going to play.
Well, let me tell you this. He wasn't, because I seriously need a reminder. Like, any of you guys listening to the show, if you hear me talking about Jets, if you hear me mention Denzel Mims on a show, anything like that, seriously, message me, at me, and just be like, dude, do not play Jets anymore. Like, be done with it.
Well, Levitan literally DM'd us this week and was like, dude,
yes.
You guys are lucky Mims is out.
By the way, KJ Hamler, 80 yards and 2 touchdowns, was in the Daily Roto Optimal, was in our top optimal.
No, you're mentally weak for
should have just played the 3K KJ Hamler smash.
Yeah, okay. So dude, let's keep on track, because what happened was we all faded Derrick Henry, we all faded Austin Eckler, and we all did play DeAndre Washington.
And Ronald Jones. We all played DeAndre. And I don't feel bad about DeAndre Washington. It happens.
I do. Yeah. I do. It's terrible.
Was I the only one who went to
bad, you know? And when I'm telling you it's bad and then I end up playing him, that just means I'm a mentally weak fish. That's all that means. Like, dude, the reality is that in a situation where Casey is very likely to win and Miami's likely to be down with Tua, who like doesn't check down very much, and they're going to take him off the field in a lot of pass catching situations, like he's just got like a stone floor of like nothing. And it's just bad.
I mean, this was his floor. He gaskined it in the sense of he had a touchdown and he just didn't quite get his pad level right to get through. It was so bad.
I know, it was so tilting.
It was so, because the hole was there, but he did the Darrell Williams thing where he just stood straight up and let himself get tackled. Like, come on. Imagine how tilting today would have been if Ronald Jones didn't get his goal line touchdown. That would have been
tilting. But Sammy, like, you can't fade a min price like running back who's going to get 13 rushing attempts and 4 targets and think that's going to be a successful long-term strategy in cash games. Like, I get the reasons, but like,
well, look, I didn't fade him. I didn't fade him at the end. Like, I was like, yeah, you know what? He's fine. But I had the same problem with him that I had with a lot of the other value guys, which is that there's just very little upside there, right? It's like, oh yeah, it's fine to say, oh, his median projection, like, you know, he should kind of return value. But the reality is you need to have like floor and ceiling. You need to have some guys with ceiling. DeAndre Washington doesn't have it. I know you're not necessarily going to get that from 4K running backs, and, you know, to get, you know, whatever, like 14 interactions from a 4K running back is good and fine.
But it's probably not good to parlay them the way I did by also playing McKissick. Like, McKissick was stupid. I feel bad.
Yeah.
Feel bad about it.
I just don't know why either one of you guys didn't do the 4 receiver thing. I mean, we all felt running back.
McKissick is. I did. Like, I'm just looking at that lineup spot, like thinking that it was Samuel. Basically, like my thought process for 96 hours of the week was playing 4 wide receivers. This was a great slate to do it. And McKissick is basically a wide receiver anyway. You're not playing him for his carries.
I was actually I was before the Jones news. I was leaning very heavily toward playing 4 wide receivers.
So who were your 4?
I wanted to play Ayuk.
See, I wanted to play.
He is a baller.
I wanted to play Ridley a lot. I really wanted Devontae and Ridley this week and couldn't get there.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about my construction, but yeah, Ridley was.
Yeah, okay. Let's just this team that Sammy played. So Sammy played Matthew Stafford, James Robinson, Ronald Jones, Devontae Adams, Mohamed Sanu, which I think you had in as Barrios, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. Tyreek Hill, Cole Kmet, DeAndre Washington, Seahawks defense. What the fuck? Look, what is this?
Sammy, you fade Derrick Henry,
yep.
You play Devontae Adams, and you don't play Aaron Rodgers. And you just say,
look, dude, straight up, just for what you know people are going to be doing against you, Tyreek over Henry was non-functional.
Oh, it was a tough scene.
But also you didn't play the Cowboys defense, which was even more weird.
No, so I really wanted to play Devontae and Tyreek. You know what I mean? Like Tyreek has been smashing so super hard. Like, I mean, his air yard share, his whopper, I mean, all these things are like elite level. Like he's been like Devontae Adams-ish for the last 5 weeks. And KC has really just been airing it out. And I'm like, you know what? I want some of that smoke. I way rather want some of that smoke than Derrick Henry.
Yeah, but basically Tyreek Hill is just Derrick Henry of wide receivers, honestly. Well, not so he was for like 3 years, not anymore. He has been getting up.
Bro.
But let me tell you this, also paying whatever $900 or $1,100 more for Tyreek than Kelce, also very fake sharp of you.
I guess. I mean, I kind of liked Kmet, dude.
I did think Kmet was really strong, and I don't actually think that, like, I did not think Kelce was some lock because I did think Kmet was so strong.
Yeah, it was just one of those things with Kelce where, dude, every single time I pay up for a tight end in cash, it just burns me every single time. And I was just like,
that's mentally weak though, because I had the same thought of like, I played Kelce this year against the Broncos. He had like 4 for 40, and I played him 2 weeks ago, and he didn't get the 100-yard bonus. And I'm like, no, that is stupid. Like, that is something I would mock Sammy for saying. So be that way.
You're mentally strong and I'm mentally weak because we played Kelce the same 2 weeks. They're like, it's the worst 2 weeks of the year. And
like literally his worst 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm like, you know what? I'm just done with this. Like, Tyreek is just like, they are literally bombing it off to him all the time. And he gets like weird goal line stuff. I mean, it's just like, and he scored 2 touchdowns. He did really good. You know?
Yeah, one of them was that
a third, and Mahomes gacked the throw. It's crazy.
Yeah. The thing with Tyreek, though, is his range of outcomes is still incredibly volatile for a wide receiver.
I don't agree with that.
I think
it's
Sammy is right in the sense that, like, him getting like 6 points now is no longer in play the way it would have been like a year ago. But like 14 versus 35, sure.
He's not Devontae Adams. And if you're going to make the claim of like fading Derrick Henry because Derrick Henry has, I would say like the range of outcomes on Derrick Henry and the range of outcomes on Tyreek Hill are actually very similar. And when you consider ownership rates in cash games, it doesn't make sense to me to play Tyreek Hill over Derrick Henry. I get that the last couple of weeks, Tyreek's usage has been there, but like because of how they use Tyreek, it's just not like a normal wide receiver and not like just the way that the Chiefs offense runs. Like his volatility is still there. I like there's no way you can deny that. That's not just like, oh, I don't feel that that's true. Like you can measure volatility and it's still there for him beyond what Devontae Adams is, beyond what other wide receivers.
Well, I certainly wasn't going to play him over Devontae Adams, right? I mean,
I know,
Devontae
but
was stone lock. So I played him and Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
Devontae was pretty close to being the worst play of the slate. Though.
Yeah.
He was about what he get over. So he was about one like 25-yard reception that he got in the fourth quarter from being like 19 points, 40% out, just like literally like the worst you could do. Yeah. So I don't know. I think probably the Devontae Adams worship is nearing its close. Because I was actually thinking.
No.
Well, I was thinking about this. Devontae Adams is obviously not going to have this good of a season next year, but he's going to go like 3rd overall in fantasy drafts next year. Like it's going to be like Dalvin. It'll be, I guess, Derrick Henry probably, and then it'll be Devontae. But he's just not. He will not do as well.
Yeah, I'm not going to get into a seasonal take, but right now the way that Rodgers and Devontae are playing, Devontae worship was totally justified this week.
Sure.
I'm not. I don't think that's like a reason to take the L this week. Like, I'm not trying to say like
there's anyone critiquing the Adams play. No, like he was a great play. No, that's not what I'm saying.
You're just saying going forward, 2021.
I'm just saying like he's gonna be like I don't know who they play next week, but like he's gonna be like 10.2 or something. And be 40% owned. It's just going to be like, I don't know, at a certain point, we got to call Uncle with just like jamming him in.
I don't know. I had him projected like 5 points more than Tyreek this week.
Yeah, we had him projected for 28, which is what he got.
Well, we know Nate's going to play him if he's in a dome. Yeah, Nate.
I probably will.
You're just going to smash him in if he's in a dome. So next week.
I mean, if he's going to continue to get 12, like if I'm going to project him for 12 targets, 12 Aaron Rodgers targets right now, they just like – in the red zone, they literally just like decide to throw the ball to Devontae instead of trying to pass. It's like, or instead of trying to run the ball with Jones. It's nuts.
How many targets would a Jet have to project for you to play them?
Oh, I'm gonna write it into my model, just excluding them from like I'm gonna pretend their games have been postponed.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good idea. So Nate, out of all of us, I think you made the single worst play other than Sammy not playing the Cowboys defense, which was Hayden Hurst instead of Logan Thomas, Jordan Reed, or Cole Kmet or Travis Kelce.
It's bizarre.
Was this? No, I know 100% what it is. It was Nate hedging mentally weak because he didn't play Ridley. So he's like, I need a little bit of exposure to the Atlanta Falcons passing game. I need a little. I know the mentally weak thought process that led him here because
maybe some of that Whopper will spill out of Ridley's cup in a day.
Like I've been that mentally weak fish before, and I know I can reverse engineer the mentally weak sauce that led to you clicking the Hayden Hurst button.
Nate, sometimes you just got to get those Matt Ryan shares in your lineup. That Matt Ryan exposure.
I'm like, man, that game. If I can't get Ridley, I honestly like. I still can't fathom that I literally locked Hayden Hurst in. Like, what the?
This is so insane. Nate, why didn't you just play Logan Thomas and then use the extra 400 from QT to play Brandon Ayuk? Like, Ayuk was such a smash.
Nate would have never played Ayuk because there's not a good enough sample of him being a game.
Yeah. Ayuk hasn't been in the league 4 years and shown like
strong. I don't know who I would have played over.
Would you have double played the Carolina Panthers wide receivers?
No, I probably would have gone to like. I mean, I couldn't get up to Corey Davis, but Corey Davis was the other guy in that range.
Marvin Jones in the flex with the snowflake next to his name for me is like it's like the image of the week.
Chef's kiss. And it's right next to Hayden Hurst.
Going into the second half, where I'm like, I'm going to get another Rodgers Devontae touchdown. I'm going to get the bonus for both of them, and I'm going to get some Marvin Jones. And then just not getting it in that second half was like the most painful way to lose.
It's not fun. No.
I still can't believe I played Hayden Hurst. I don't know.
Yeah, what was he owned in your double ups? Like 0.04%?
I mean, it had to be in the single digits. Let's see.
Massive $25 double up. Give me the Hayden Hurst ownership.
I mean, I'm going under 1%, definitely.
Yeah, it's got to be.
No, it was 5.8.
What? Are you selling subscriptions to your mom?
No, I was gonna say some like 9th rate DFS site had to have put him in their optimal.
Dude, I don't know. With Julio gone, my projections liked him. I shouldn't have done it. Logan Thomas. I don't know what I was thinking.
You would have won. No, you would have gotten close. You would have lost like 30%.
9 extra points. I would have been fine.
No, because you would have. Yeah, because like 144 was like the sweet spot this week.
Yeah,
144, 145.
I would have been right at one. Yeah. So I don't know why I didn't play Thomas. It was a bad move. And it probably would have gotten me off QT. I made 2 bad moves this week, Hurst and QT.
Kiki, I never
Kiki
again.
Here's the thing. Right now, this Texas offense, without Will Fuller,
they're the Jags.
They are brutally inefficient on offense. And outside of Watson, nobody is like going to be playable on a week-to-week basis. And I think going up against the Bears, like, I just should never have done this at 5K.
Yeah, I was cool on QT, man. I cashed in super hard last week, and then I'm like, cool, I'm walking away from the table. This is a smart thing to do.
I don't know.
He got a touchdown. Like, you guys almost got buried on that play.
I don't know what. Yeah, those 2 were I fished it.
Yeah, well, what can you do?
Well, I mean, so I didn't play Dallas, and I thought that Dallas was like the best value defense.
But you didn't need the money because you played Stafford, bro.
Yeah,
Sammy's like, I don't need to pay up for Rodgers. I'm going to pay up at defense.
Well, no.
I'm going to pay up for the Seahawks.
Difference, if I had gotten to – I would have punted defense if I could have gotten to Rodgers in some, like, reasonable way.
I mean, why didn't you just play, like, the Jets defense? That would have been on brand for you.
Or Washington. You already had McKissick.
No,
Washington was expensive. Washington cost more than the Cowboys.
Wasn't Washington 2.4?
And I didn't play McKissick.
2.6.
So that's $400 less than Seattle.
Well,
Sammy paid $3K at defense.
I know.
Well, I had the money and I was cool everywhere else. Obviously, I should not have been, but I thought Seattle was like overall the best. But it was just like the extra $600 for my lineup. I just couldn't do anything significant with it. I mean, I'll be honest with you guys, this was, I thought, the toughest week, at least for me, in cash of the entire season. I didn't feel confident. I played a lot less volume. I put out a crap lineup, made bad decisions. I mean, it was just fish all around. It was really bad. And I think we all choked in a lot of ways. The fact that we all faded Henry and Eckler,
not playing Eckler is like it's just total FPS. Like, what am I doing?
Yeah, it was really egregious. I mean,
not playing. I know that Rodgers was a really good play, but like Jalen Hurts had a freaking 17 rushing attempts, dude.
Dude, Jalen Hurts
bonus?
Literally, if he throws 2 or 3 picks in the first half and Carson Wentz comes out in the second half, would anybody have been surprised?
Never. No, I would have been very surprised. Jalen Hurts is a fucking winner, dude. No way.
Jalen Hurts literally, like, in this spot could have, like,
literally, Nate,
been pulled.
How bad do the New Orleans Saints beat the Eagles' ass if Carson Wentz starts this game? Like 30-0, 30-7.
The Saints defense,
it's a bloodbath.
The Saints defense is legit good.
Bro.
The Saints defense is legit good. Like, what Hurts did was impressive. But I like to play him in DFS cash games.
I mean, if I just told you guys straight up, we all faded a 5.1K quarterback with 18 rushing attempts, like we're all just like.
And he hit the bonus.
Dude, he literally hit the rushing bonus. Like that. I mean, honestly, that was my big mistake. That's why I'm a fish.
I mean,
Stafford instead of Hurts.
I agree with you guys that, like, I think against the New Orleans Saints, it probably was not good in cash. But I also didn't even make one Jalen Hurts tournament team. Not one. Like, what am I doing?
Very off-brand.
Very off-brand, very stupid.
Most of the listeners don't remember back to the Johnny Manziel, like,
yeah.
Johnny Manziel
they don't remember.
Days, but it's off-brand.
That was a time. Yeah. Man, how about Alshon Jeffrey catching a touchdown in the year of our Lord?
The back shoulder.
All he needed was some Hurts in his life. Maybe the problem wasn't Alshon Jeffrey all along. Maybe it was Carson Wentz.
How bad is Wentz? Is Wentz going to go down as like one of the most – can you imagine his performance at his price, like what they're paying him for his contract? That has to be like one of the worst contracts.
Yeah,
ever.
but contracts are like not real in the NFL, so thankfully the Eagles will be able to figure it out.
I think Wentz's is actually fairly real is the thing about it.
No,
his is actually legit guaranteed.
Great. They cut him and they pay him the money, but it doesn't end up counting against the salary cap. These teams,
I don't think that's accurate.
I mean, dude, the NFL salary cap is not real.
Okay, I'm not going to take a stance on this because to be honest, I don't know a lot about the NFL salary cap, but I also
it's very
don't
fake.
seem to know what you're talking about here.
I'm just going to use a Bayesian process here and just infer that Davis is incorrect about this.
No, this is 100% true. Like, literally ask anyone. Like,
Wentz
just
has a lot of guaranteed money coming as well.
That is true, but Sammy, just tweet, is the NFL salary cap real? And a bunch of people will tweet back to you, it's not real.
Bro, I know how NFL salaries, like contracts work. Like, a bunch of the money isn't guaranteed, and they're all 4-year, 5-year deals that you can cut a guy after year 2 with no skin off your back. I know it. But when you have giant signing bonuses and guaranteed money, that gets very real. And I'm pretty sure I saw some graphics about Wentz's contract, how much it would cost the Eagles to actually cut him. Yeah.
Well, I mean, honestly, I hope that, as a Dallas Cowboys fan, I hope that Jalen Hurts gets traded and that they pay Carson Wentz for like the next decade, because Carson Wentz is one of the worst NFL quarterbacks I've watched in the last 5 years. He's terrible. He's so bad.
Very bad. I do want to say, like, Seattle defense did end up doing well. Like, it wasn't – I don't think it was that big of a – like, dude, I mean, the Cowboys just got a touchdown really early on, and it's like, okay, like, that's going to happen when a low-price value chalk one hits. But the Jets were never in any serious danger of scoring any points. And, frankly, the only reason Seattle legit, like, dropped pick sixes. And then the Jets do that thing where they just start like handing the ball off at the end of the game and don't even try to score, which I think I should have considered a little more, that they don't even try.
Yep.
Hard to get points for the defense when they do that.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Guys, I want to be done with this week.
Yeah, we're done.
I mean, I don't even have the
listeners are literally tuning in and listening to us talk about the salary cap. Like, this is salary takes.
I want to be right about one thing this week, Nate.
Sammy is right now. He's got to get to his TV so we can watch another Deontay Johnson 19 target 44-yard game.
He's already got 3 targets. We're only one drive
for 12 yards.
Is that raising his yards per target for the season? I'm not sure.
No. It's going to take him from 119th down to 125th. Him and Kyle Juszczyk are going to have the same yards per target by the end.
I can't wait until the Steelers are back on the main slate. Are they back next week on the main?
Sammy's going to go broke
I'll tell
these
you.
last 3 weeks.
I will go
15 NFL schedule. So we have the start of the Saturday games. The Bills and the Broncos play on Saturday, and then the Panthers and the Packers. Looks like your Steelers are on Monday night against the Bengals.
Against the freaking Bengals. Unbelievable. Nobody even wants to watch it. Well, Deontay and the captain. What are you going to do?
Yeah, I'm definitely not going to watch that game. All right, everyone, that'll do it. We'll be back next week, hopefully with hopefully we'll remember to play Jalen Hurts next week.
Derrick Henry is playing the Lions.
I'm not playing Derrick Henry again.
There we go. There we go.
December,
we can record next week's show. We can record next week's show already.
Well, we all faded Derrick Henry, and we all played this min-price running back who got 17 points less than Austin Eckler. I can't figure out why I can't win this month.